Marcus Hayes for the Mighty Fight Hub TV with the one and only living legend, Mr. Jim Lampley. Jim, just ahead, Canelo Alvarez, Jaime Munguia, fight week almost coming to an end. Big events yesterday, Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez going at it up on the stage. Looked like we almost had a fist fight. What'd you think about the way things happened?
Well, they created an unnecessary distraction for their own promotion. I felt like they weren't doing anything much to sell the fight that they were supposed to be setting up and promoting, and I don't think much was accomplished in terms of the acrimony between the two of them. But hey, it's their right to do what they want to do. I felt like it was a misapprehension of that occasion and a wrong usage of the time that reporters were here in the arena looking for information about a fight that people ought to be interested in because it could be very entertaining.
And with the fight being so entertaining, I asked Oscar De La Hoya after the melee, Oscar, do you think that you poked the bear with Canelo Alvarez, largely pretty calm and subdued? Every time we see him during fight week, doesn't really show much emotion until the weigh-in. Not the case yesterday. Canelo Alvarez adamantly wanting De La Hoya to know how he felt. Do you think that transpires to anything different on fight night? Do you think we get an enraged Canelo Alvarez that absolutely clobbers Munguia?
Well, first let me pat you on the back for a good question, all right? Because that is absolutely the right question to have asked at that moment. Obviously, we don't know the answer. Canelo has always been pretty calm, pretty measured, pretty able to stay within himself as he approaches a fight. I don't know whether Oscar was saying what he said because it's just an emotional urge he couldn't possibly tamp back down, or because he wanted to get under Canelo's skin and try to distract Canelo going into the fight against Munguia. The more I thought about it overnight coming into today, the more I thought, yeah, maybe it was the latter. Maybe was that Oscar had this bone to pick anyway, and he calculated the idea that this could be a distraction to Canelo coming into the fight. But I don't think Canelo is the kind of guy that you can distract. He's a businessman. He's been a businessman all the way through his career. He measures his opportunities both outside the ring and inside the ring, and he takes advantage when he sees advantage. And I don't think that anything Oscar said yesterday is going to change the way Canelo will fight against Jaime Munguia.
As far as Jaime Munguia goes, he just kind of sat there while everything was happening.
It wasn't about him. It was about everybody else other than him. And I thought that was interesting. It was a situation that I don't think he connected to all that much or cared about all that much.
One thing that kind of stuck out, and it's been played over, and a lot of people have talked about it since last night. I've probably had 10 conversations about it today. Let me take you through the dream time machine here, Jim. 2003, De La Hoya holds a version of the titles at 154. 2016, Canelo Alvarez has the titles at 154. If they were to meet at 154 in a dream matchup, who do you think would have won?
I think that the advantage would have lain with Canelo because he's a natural counterpuncher, and Oscar would have needed to attack in that fight. So I think that Canelo's a little sturdier, obviously shorter, not as long as Oscar. There would have been some advantages for Oscar, too. With Oscar in big fights like that, it was mostly usually about, is he going to land his left hook? His left hook was a fight-changing punch. He had a spectacular capability of getting over if he could land that punch. If opponents found a way to block it, see Pernell Whitaker, then Oscar wasn't quite as effective. I think that among Canelo's many skills as he's grown, he's a quality defender. At the end of the day, close fight, might have had to favor Canelo, but, a lot of people have accused me of rooting for Oscar in every one of his fights that I called all the way through his career. I met him at the Olympics in 1992 when he was, becoming a giant star by winning that gold medal in the Olympics and fulfilling a promise to his mother. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Oscar, so I can't say that I wouldn't have rooted for him.
Jim, speaking of the left hook, another fighter with a big-time left hook affiliated with Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia, back in the news 2 weeks after his big victory over Devin Haney, which probably was one of the most exciting fights of the year. Turns out there was something afoot. Ryan Garcia getting popped for PEDs yesterday. Give us your reaction to that news.
Well, Ryan Garcia says, oh, these are lies. My perception, very strongly held perception, is that Voluntary Anti-Doping Association doesn't lie. Voluntary Anti-Doping Association was set up for a serious purpose by serious people. They do serious testing with a scientific process. And at the moment, it appears to me that one way or another, Ryan Garcia was contaminated by a performance-enhancing drug. I don't think that he can credibly mount an argument that there was nothing in his system because, again, I don't believe VADA lies. So it's not flattering, and it takes a certain amount of glory and credit away from the spectacular win that he scored in the ring.
And isn't it weird, though, Jim, that with that news about Ryan Garcia, fight fans are talking more about the rematch now than ever before. Devin Haney wanting that fight to now become a no contest and adamantly calling for a rematch and a more fair state. What do you think about that?
Life is strange, isn't it? I mean, it only stands to reason that the arrival of a heated argument leads to a larger argument. So now they'll have a larger argument about how to make a rematch. And who knows, if they're able to make a rematch and go forward toward it and promote it in the right way and use all this as fuel, they can make more money than they did the first time around.
Well, there you have it, fight fans. Info from a guy who knows. Remember, Jim Lampley, he's going to be hosting the viewer chat Saturdays, Munguia and Canelo. Jim, you can probably tell him better than I can.
Here's how it happens. When you buy the pay-per-view, you have the opportunity, if you want, to participate in PPV.com. PPV.com is Jim Lampley, Lance Pugmire of the Los Angeles Times, Dan Canobio of CompuBox, Chris Algieri of his tremendous battle with Ruslan Provodnikov in Barclays Center, and the four of us are all texting live chat commentary on the fight, and you as a viewer can join in and be a part of that chat stream as well. PPV.com.
Pugilism, victory. I'm Marcus Hayes from Fight Hub TV with my guy, Jim Lampley. Jim, as always, thank you for your time.
My privilege.
Look forward to you. Thank you.